All right. Welcome back, guys, to another edition of Curators.
Where do I look?
This one's yours.
Did you
Yeah,
start?
because I'm there.
Okay, so you started, and I'm like, where do I look? The set of pictures on this T-shirt are so funny.
Really?
They're
Is this your dad?
Yeah.
You're joking.
I use him for inspiration for most of the local guys
Yeah.
So he has a lot of pictures from the first what's it called? From his wedding day, where he just looks so upset.
That's hilarious.
He looks so upset. Okay, wait, I found the pictures.
Let me see.
This was the actual shoot from the wedding.
And this
He looks so... It's like, what did I put myself through? Look at this.
Curator'S couch. Everyone.
Listen, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, make sure you share with friends, family.
Yes.
Show my guys some love.
Welcome back to another edition of Curator'S Couch. Today we have another very, very special guest. She's actually the creator of this shirt I'm wearing right now. Her name is Aisha, and she's here to talk about herself and her brand Lahjtna.
Yes.
Did I say it right?
You got it.
Awesome. So give us a little bit of an introduction about yourself.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so my name is Aisha. I am 23 years old.
Okay.
I started off my brand second year of uni. So I wanted to start off something that is an educational platform that kind of talks a lot about, different socio-political topics and stuff, and kind of just educates people about it. But at first, at the very beginning, this was just a university project that I never really thought that I would continue working on.
Oh, so it just started as a project for a class.
It was just a project. It was like an online publishing class, and I remember I every time that I talk about this, I'm like, this was a child of anxiety because it was a last-minute project. And I remember being having nothing literally a day before the deadline. And me just running around uni and going I don't even know what to do. You guys are done. Everyone is doing their thing. And I remember running to one of my friends, on her desk, and I'm like, just give me anything in Lahjtna, any name or whatever. And she's like, just call it that, just call it that.
That's the origin story behind that.
So I remember literally just going back to my desk, writing it down in different lettering, connecting the letters. If you look at the actual logo, everything is connected as if it's like a puzzle. So that is the concept of it. I actually put the letters together. And then I remember just in a day or two putting a website up. I had...
Wait, so the project was to make... What was
The project was to make an educational platform of any kind and just build a website with it.
Okay.
Build a website, build an Instagram. It's to teach you basically how to start up something an online platform.
Yeah.
So I remember doing all of this and then I just left it, I never really thought it was going to be a t-shirt brand. I never thought it would turn into a fashion brand. And during uni, I was already working on a lot of projects, which is why I was super behind when it comes to university.
Yeah.
So
we can all relate to that.
yeah. So I was doing my own thing, and then I just had this a deadline kind of show up out of nowhere, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. But anyways, I remember submitting that project, forgetting about it. I had the website, I had the domain, I had everything set up, and I remember during the summer, that was okay, first of all, I can never sit still. I have to always be working on something.
Same.
I
see what you mean.
Yeah, so I always have to be working on something. I always have to be doing something. And I remember just waking up summer 2018, and I woke up at 6 a.m. I remember, and I couldn't sleep because I was so anxious, and I'm like, I have nothing to do with my life. I have nothing to do. I feel very purposeless, and I don't know what to do, and I could be doing something with my time. So I was scrolling through Instagram at 6 a.m. and I saw this t-shirt brand. I don't remember what it was called, but then I started looking through their feed, and I was like, the way that they kind of put together, socio-political topics, they put together humor, all into one, and everything was so beautifully executed, but then it was very Western.
Yeah.
So I looked at it and I was like, I could do something like this, but I could do something, you know, that kind of links to the culture here. People,
Yeah.
something that you can relate to. Because a lot of his streetwear brands, is what I realize, is that it kind of focuses a lot on the Western culture. Like,
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
is
yeah.
actually, if you look at it, nothing is actually relatable to us as like, you know, Arab kids or like teenagers, adults, whatever. Like, you see things and you're just like, okay, that's cool, I'll wear it. So my goal was to just kind of create something that was that the generation here can relate to.
Yeah.
So I remember the first drop was super, like, I look back at the pictures, not the pictures, I actually like the pictures. I look back at the designs and I'm like,
But you start somewhere, right?
yeah, you always start somewhere.
And
but like,
and kind of the best thing about that is that moment when you do look back 2, 3, 4 years later,
mhm.
and you're like, I started there, and now
Yeah.
I'm here, and
Yeah.
like everybody who followed you from that the whole time saw that progress. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's like growing with your audience and with your people.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it's a nice thing to reflect on and like look back on.
It is
For sure.
It is for sure.
Yeah. So did you study your creative passions like in uni? Were you studying graphic design or
Yes.
or yeah, you were?
Yeah. So I
Okay.
was studying visual communication, which is another word for like graphic design,
Yeah.
at AUS.
Okay.
I remember I actually wanted to study film. I really wanted to
Wow.
be a director. So I wanted to pursue that, but, you know, given to like, you know, the circumstances that of just, you know, living here, moving,
Yeah.
having to move abroad and stuff to like do it, it was super difficult. So like I just kind of saw whatever opportunity that I had here, and I just
Yeah.
you know decided to take it. And the thing is, like, my parents were super against studying film, so I was like, okay, what is the next best thing that I can actually like fuel my creativity,
Yeah.
and it can actually make me feel, you know, like I'm actually doing something that I love, and it was graphic design. And before that, I've been freelancing as a photographer and a filmmaker since I was 15.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I've been doing that, and I've been like, through the savings of all of that, I was able to start up, like, put that working capital
Yeah.
into my brand. So
Wait, so going back to like what you studied, I, honestly, it's a contrast from everyone I've had on before because everyone else that I've had on are studying, you know, the trivial things, the engineers, business,
yeah,
whatever it may be. And one person as well that I previously talked to mentioned that they would kind of be afraid to get into studying something that they're into creatively because somebody ends up judging it and you get an A, B, C, or a D on it.
yeah, that's true.
Whereas like in the more trivial things like engineering and stuff, it's either right or wrong. So that makes sense. But in more creative things, it's kind of like, why are you judging what I'm creating, and why should it be a C instead of an A or vice versa? So how was like your experience studying that?
So
Like
with
the things that you loved. Sorry.
Yes, it's okay. Sorry for talking over you.
No, it's okay.
The thing is, with graphic, I'm the kind of person who I'm an artist way before I was a graphic designer.
Yeah.
So I've learned through actually like studying graphic design helped me not to take things personally at all. You know,
Okay.
everything is subjective when it comes to
Yeah.
design. Someone who is going to come to you and start like, you know, just talking negatively about your work, but that is their perspective. Their perspective when it comes to design, that this is something that's not going to work. There are a set of rules as well, like, you know, that if you break, it's like blasphemy.
Yeah.
But I was always challenging that notion, you know, like during uni, like most of the time I felt like, you know, my work wasn't, I don't know how to explain it, but just like.
But do you kind of feel that maybe some people don't have the right to have like
An opinion?
not an opinion, but like just to like judge whatever you put out creatively because maybe it's beyond their understanding? Or obviously I'm not trying to say that like
No.
creatives are like above and beyond everyone and
Yeah.
they don't understand, like no one else understands us.
I get
But
you, yeah. I think with the with creative people in general, it's just creativity to them is fueling something within. So
Yeah.
like you use creativity to talk about your feelings, your emotions. So when you have someone come up to you and tell you, I don't get it, or like, you shouldn't have used that color, but that is, you take it personally, take it at heart. It's like
Yeah.
someone is invalidating how you feel, which is why a lot of people tend to like, especially artists, like they tend to like really protect everything that they kind of put out there, and then that's why a lot of artists choose not to put out their work, you know, because
That's
they
true.
don't want to deal with other people's criticisms or like have other people kind of put a certain value on their work. But one thing though is that I try to take the positive, that's my own personal experience, I try to take the positive aspects of studying a major like graphic design. And it's that I took what I wanted to learn, like I took the constructive criticism. I did not take criticism just because someone says, oh, I don't like it.
Yeah, yeah.
Or like, oh, you should do that because I think that would look better. But like, why? If it does not relate back to a certain, if it does not relate back to a certain sort of rule, or like a certain, if it doesn't have a logical reasoning behind it, I'm not going to listen to it, you know? But if there is a logical reasoning behind it, I would take what you say into consideration and I would actually work on it. Similarly, I actually apply that kind of mindset to my business as well, to Lahjtna. What I do is that I make sure that the audience is fully engaging with the brand. So when I'm creating, it's not just me creating, it's you creating as well with me. So you're helping me with the process of designing. I want to know what it is that you want as well when it comes to, you know, certain outfit, a certain piece that you want to own. Because at the end of the day, it is a business. You know, you're not creating for yourself. That is the difference between, you know, putting your art out there and not kind of like monetizing it. But then there's also you putting your work out there for other people to see, for other people to wear, for other people to, you know, enjoy. So I want to make sure that, you know, when people purchase something, it is a piece that lives up to the standard that they want. So everything that I design, everything that I put out there with every collection, I make sure that I'm engaging with the audience in the process.
I definitely see that.
Yeah, like I want to make sure that people understand that you are involved as well. You know, this is more of a community rather than just, you know, a page with like an anonymous figure that's just putting things out there just because they want to. You know, and the name itself, Lahjtna, you know, it is a community. It is not something that's just that belongs solely to me. So I'm not putting out there only my experiences, but I'm using the platform to vocalize other people's experiences as well. Talk about things that other people want to talk about, but they're afraid to talk about. And do it in a manner that is very subtle, so that I realized, I've learned this actually throughout the 3 years of almost 3 years of the business running, is that you need to be very careful with the way that you word things. And sometimes it's not sometimes, always, you need to know the audience that you're designing for. You know, a lot of people will take things that you say at heart. A lot of people might not understand your intentions. So like when you're designing something, it is super important for you to get to know your audience first. So like that is something that I've actually learned, is that I can't just put something out there because I think it's right and I think everyone should agree with my perspective and I think everyone should just like, you know, either listen to me or not. No, that's not gonna work. That's not a long-term mindset, you know. And
that's also just living completely out of reality as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to be grounded as well, with no matter how much success you have, you need to be grounded. You need to remind yourself of the people that actually paved the way for your success. And I owe it a lot to the people. Like, I know exactly the customers and I know exactly the people who have been there from day one. Like, you know, I see them, I see their names, I see them engaging, and I'm like, I see you. Like, you know. And sometimes what I do is I contact personal people and I'm just like, let me send you something, you know, as like a token or gratitude gesture. And I want to make sure that people are heard. I want to make sure that they know that they're a part of the community, that it's not just you wearing something from this brand just for the sake of wearing something from this brand, you know? Like, I want to make sure that, yes, it is a business, it's a streetwear brand, but also what you're wearing is a piece of art that belongs solely to you. And that is also why whenever I'm producing anything, I produce it in limited quantities. I don't want it to be fast fashion. I don't want it to be a streetwear brand that is so hyped that everyone has, you know, like access to. Like, it's only for the people who actually understand the value of the brand. Obviously, like, you know, like with time it's going to grow. I'm certain it's going to blow up any day.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
yeah. So like, I've prepared myself for that. You know, I'm like, I don't mind the gradual growth. Like I allow the gradual growth to happen, and I also allow it for this to happen. And whatever happens, I'm gonna adapt to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
at the same time, like right now, it's like it's growing. It's in the process of growing and expanding. So like, I really want to make sure that, you know, the foundation of the brand is set before I start building on a very like fragile foundation, and then just have it collapse midway through its success, which is not okay.
Yeah, that wouldn't be ideal at all. Yeah. But I definitely, like, I completely see what you say about having constant engagement with the people who follow you and all these things as well, because before every collection I see how you post the question stickers on Instagram and do you want to see this or this, or do you like these designs or these colors, or it's such a back and forth, and that's one of the things that like drew me to your brand in the first place, and I love it, honestly. And even one of the things that I remember getting is right here. I got with this shirt, guys, look at this. With every single shirt you get this cool ass certificate of authenticity, huh?
Yeah.
So whose handwriting is this? Would you remember, or no way?
This is my handwriting for sure, because I prepare every single package. So I know every single person that actually. Like,
yeah, and this comes with like every single shirt, right?
So, but for the previous collections, we ran out. So we're kind of thinking of creating something else that is like customized. So with the new collection, it's just the on the road collection. It's actually for every single collection we try to customize something to make it more personal to the person that is receiving it. These cards, I had so many of them from the first collection. I don't know why I printed so many, but like looking back at it right now, I feel like it's still a reminder of like, with every collection, I just feel like these cards are like a reminder of like every single collection, how much I've expanded, and like how many collections I've released after I released that one. Sorry.
So this one was for which?
The very first collection.
The very first one. So this is the first one?
This was actually, I say we a lot as if like, you know, me and my entities.
By the way, I do the same thing, and I'm a one-man show. I always say we. I feel like
we will get back to you shortly.
It adds a bit of sauce. I don't know why. I just like saying
myself
it.
And I. But what was I gonna say? What was I saying?
This collection.
This collection. Yeah. Okay, so I do sometimes. I really make sure that I don't have so many drops, just because I'm trying to make the brand a little bit more. Actually, I'm trying to make the brand gradually more environmentally friendly. Yeah. So I'm trying to really reduce the number of pieces that I release as well. So sometimes if I have a sort of like a vision or an inspiration from something, I'd release like pieces like after collection by like 2 months or like 3 months. So it's like, you know, like they're I don't know what I call them. Like they're just like
a surprise, like one or two items.
Yeah. So this was one of them.
Okay.
So it was my red hair is everywhere.
Was this the one with the select shop or no? No.
So this was a release that I did with a brand, a pop-up brand that's based in Bahrain. They were doing a virtual pop-up, and during that time, I was selling the Sindbad hoodie, was the Apocalypse collection, and I had two ideas in mind to kind of. It sold out. So a lot of the hoodies and the sweaters. It's actually one hoodie and one sweater. They sold out so fast. So a lot of people were asking if there was going to be a restock. I don't restock, so I was like, okay, I can maybe release something that's different along the same lines. So this was kind of like the second piece after the self-freedom shirt that I had. So this one just says, listen to your soul.
Okay.
So the way that I've designed this is that the Arabic complements the English, but at the same time, it's not a literal kind of translation of it.
Yeah.
So.
Is it true that that you do all your own fonts?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Okay.
I do. But these are not. It's these are existing fonts.
Okay.
But then I do kind of go into it, and I kind of just like tweak it a little bit.
Yeah,
but that's just like a graphic design thing. But then also sometimes I would, in the new collection, There are a few pieces. I wish I bought some of these, but I was lost.
It's okay.
With the new collection, I actually handwrite some of the text, and I kind of scan it, put it, and then kind of like redraw it. One of the shirts is why I actually asked my aunt to if I can use her handwriting in it. What else?
Definitely have you taken any calligraphy classes or anything like that then?
I took not calligraphy classes. It's mostly basic typography that I took.
Oh, okay.
But it was never Arabic. Arabic is something that I had to learn.
Yeah.
And I focused a lot on my senior project as well for it to be Arabic typography, because it's something that I really wanted to focus on, and it was something that I found way more interesting. Because with every typographical kind of with typography in general, whether it's Latin or Arabic, there are a set of rules that you need to follow when you're building a font, when you're kerning, when you're tracking your font, all that stuff. You need to follow a certain set of rules to make sure that the font is not distorted, it doesn't look off, it's it's not harsh on the eye of the viewer. So so I know basics, but I'm still trying to learn more when it comes to Arabic font, because with Arabic fonts, Arabic typography specifically, it's much harder to be experimental with. There are a set of rules that you need to kind of always keep in mind. Otherwise, it just becomes you can't actually read it.
Yeah.
So I see that a lot with a lot of streetwear brands, where it's Arabic text, but you try to read it and you're like, what does that say? It's just letters at this point. Yeah, they look pretty.
There's a very big one that just came to mind that I won't mention, but
let's not mention.
Yeah,
but
But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
definitely. But wait, let's go back to the Apocalypse collection.
All right.
So how did the collaborations come about with the brands for that collection?
For that collection, okay. So that collection, I spent around 5 to 6 months putting it together.
Okay, and just before you go, I'm gonna name drop the brands because I feel like you're not gonna say what they are.
Yeah, no.
And they're huge, so I'll give you your props because obviously that's crazy. It's Nike and Lamborghini, right?
Yes.
Wow,
yes.
wow, mashallah.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Okay, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Okay. So the collection is, I spent 5 to 6 months working on it because I just felt like now is the right time for the brand to actually start expanding and not just be t-shirts. So I was like, okay, during the winter time, what is it that I wear? What is it that people around me wear? How do I make pieces that are comfortable? How do I make pieces that you can throw on? So before I build any collection, I always put a concept. So the concept for this was what was happening during the pandemic, which is everyone's kind of mental distress about what the future holds.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people are like, oh, this is the end of the world, oh, this is 2020 is that's it, and I wanted to take that aspect and just make it a bit more positive, you know what I mean? So and make it super lighthearted, so that a lot of people just when they see the pieces, it's not something that is super dramatic, So what I did is that I looked at different, because I grew up watching a lot of anime, so I took a lot of anime from my mom's generation, my aunt, my siblings, and I kind of narrowed it down to the most futuristic ones with a certain concept of we're here to save the world, whatever. And for each one of them, what I did is that based on the storyline of the anime, I tried to build a certain message. Okay, so let's say with fantasy, it talks about a post-apocalyptic kind of world where there's this fight between good and evil, and there was a lot happening in terms of politics. So I just wanted to kind of remind people that it is important for you. It is nice to be stuck in your own bubble, but it is also important for you to understand where it is crucial for you to step in as an individual. It is crucial for you to actually fight for the good in this world, because you play a large role in it. So it's literally like little subliminal messages that I put here and there, and it's to just tap into people's subconscious, so that you look at something for a long time until that actually becomes a part of you, a part of your mindset.
Yeah.
And the shirt that you're wearing is based on the concept of reaching a higher vibration.
Of, what's it called? Transcendental
Intelligence. So that is when you reach a high vibration where like literally I don't know what dimension you're on, where nothing actually kind of phases you. But in order for you to reach that, you need to let go of self-limiting beliefs. So like I try to make sure that there's always a message. Always a message. So back to the Apocalypse collection, because I can't focus on one topic at once.
It's okay.
With the Apocalypse collection, so this was one of the pieces I wear so much. It is
the sweatpants.
The sweatpants.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite pieces. So I put together outfits that are extremely comfortable to wear during the winter. Something that people would go for during winter: hoodies, sweaters, oversized t-shirts. Something that you can wear at home, during lockdown, whatever. Like something that you can get a lot of wear out of. I also released my first bag. I wanted to make sure that bag was something that men can wear, women can wear, and it fits. It's tiny, but it fits a lot. It's tiny, but it's mighty. Like, you can put your phone, your wallet, your car keys, whatever you want to put in there, it can fit. Like,
it's the vest one, right? I love it.
So, so it's just this was the first kind of like expansion collection. So I wanted it to kind of leave its mark, which is why I contacted Lamborghini, I contacted Nike, and I was like, I want you guys on board, please. So I love Lamborghini. It's like the reason why I chose this brand is because ever since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with this car. Yeah. Like whenever I was younger, I was like, I'm gonna drive this. So like I wanted that kind of. I wanted it to be a reminder as a reminder of my younger self within that, because also the animation and all of that is also kind of reminding me of my childhood, and I just wanted it to be more relatable, like right now, now that I'm actually like grown, I can drive. So like, I wanted to actually just. With every collection, there's always a personal element that is hidden that I only know of, which makes it super like special to me. Everything that I design is sometimes based off my own personal experiences or personal experiences of people around me, which is why I love talking to people. I love hearing what they have to say, because it kind of gives me a different perspective as well.
So you would say, kind of what I'm getting a little bit from everything I've heard from you so far is that your creativity is kind of a lot more internal than external, or would you say it's a mix?
It's a mix of both.
Okay.
Definitely a mix of both. Because if it was only internal, I don't think it would have made sense.
I understand that, but
because I don't even know what's going on internally, to be honest.
No, but I mean like kind of just from your experiences and your childhood and what you mentioned about the anime and the dream car and
so it's certain like very subtle elements that I add, but like when it comes to the overall image or the overall vision of every single drop, it's always kind of like it's more of like an accumulation of everyone's mindset. Like it's more of I wouldn't say it's more of like a holistic kind of approach, but rather of like a collective one.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that it doesn't just relate to me, but it relates to everyone. Like you see this and you're like, oh my god, I can relate. I can see myself in this. Yeah. And comfort is so important to me when it comes to like the pieces. Like I want to make sure every piece that I release, like you can get so much wear out of it. You can wear it literally anywhere. Yeah.
I mean, I think I've had this for like, when did this come out? Maybe a year
and a half? Yeah.
A year and a half ago, yeah. And it's in good shape so far, so you're definitely on the right track in terms of the, the quality and keeping it long term and getting wear out of it. Yeah. But one thing I want to go back to, and last time, I'm sorry, but I want to know how like receptive and like how kind of the dialogue went when you reached out to brands like the big ones that you collaborated with. And
so I don't know. Like it took a long time. So it took with Lambo around a month and a half to get an approval. But that is because it's completely understandable. Like,
Yeah.
You know, like it's just, it took them, you know, like a while to kind of like assess the situation. Because what I do is I'm always fully prepared when it comes to these things. I'm fully prepared.
So what did you open with, I guess, when you reached out?
How did I open up with them?
Yeah, like what was the first, what did you say to start the dialogue, I guess?
To start the dialogue, I actually, I don't know if I should share this.
If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Okay, I'll share part of it.
Okay.
But I actually visited the showroom.
Okay.
Okay, and I did ask about a car that I actually want. So that's how it started.
Okay.
So one thing is that I actually am interested in this car. You know, like I actually have it in my head, and I've had it for a long time. So I just wanted to figure out my finances accordingly to it. So like it was like a one stone, what is it, two bird, one stone kind of situation.
Yeah.
And while I was just asking about this car, you know, and you know, like I'm the appointment or whatever, it just came up. Like I looked around the showroom and I'm like, this is perfect for the collection. I was like, this is perfect for the collection. It looks so futuristic. It's like the car of my dreams. I mean, let's go. It looks amazing. So I just casually, like, you know, dropped it. I was like, what do you think is the possibility? That's the thing, you know, when it comes to these situations, you need to always believe that you have a yes.
Yeah, that's
always.
true.
Always. Walk in there like you already got your yes. And I was like, what is the harm in asking? There is no harm.
You lose nothing.
You lose nothing. And if you get a no, so what? You know? So what?
Yeah.
You know? But I didn't settle for a no. I did not settle for a no.
Clearly.
I was like, this is going to happen. You know, and I've been pushing it for a month. And they were busy, you know, like planning events. So, like, I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for the team that kind of, like, put up with me. They were super patient. They gave me, you know, the showroom for a day, and I was like, that is like, you guys,
yeah,
like, you know, that was
crazy.
like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
I definitely like appreciate the salesperson, the marketing manager, you know, and it just the way that they kind of dealt with the situation actually makes you want to go back and, you know, be like, you know, can I have some of that? You know, like it was a good customer service experience, regardless of how, you know, like well known the company is. You know, like they were so respectful, they were so receptive. It was just, yes, it took a long time, but like, you know, what I was asking for was not something that, you know, I can just get an immediate yes.
Oh yeah, obviously, yeah.
So yeah, I remember like I was fully prepared. Like I do things, it's either like 100% or I don't. So I put together like an entire kind of document explaining the entire collection piece by piece, the vision, you know, the demographic of the company. What is it that Lahjtna can offer to you? Yeah. What is it that, you know, what is it that we can do for the future with you guys? You know, I just went into like details with graphs and
Graphs, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I literally like, and yeah, I remember sending it to Shep. I love this guy, Shep Moha.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, because the thing is, when I decided on doing that, a lot of people are like, it's not gonna happen. Like, it's not gonna happen. Like, it's a big company. It's not gonna happen. I was like, you know, I love it when people say stuff like this to me. Like, you know, and then because I can go back and be like,
and it makes you want it like way more than you already did.
It's just you're doubting my potential, but you don't know that I know my potential and I know what I'm capable of doing. And that is super important. You know, when you're starting up a business, know your worth.
Absolutely.
Don't let other people dictate your worth for you.
Absolutely.
Like, don't.
But
listen.
that's honestly so refreshing to hear that you know every little piece or item you manage to like not just manage to write something about what it means, but you already knew from way before and you have a vision and a direction, because what you see like most of the time these days is just people slapping something on a shirt to make some money or to
Yeah.
for clout, or oh, I have a fashion brand or whatever.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong, but it's just it's not the direction that I would take.
Oh yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I'm more of a storyteller.
Exactly.
When it comes to everything, when designing or whatever, I want to make sure that I'm selling a story. I'm not selling an item. Not even selling a story. I want to make sure that you actually like the story.
But as well with I guess people who do that as opposed to what you do is that it usually never ends up lasting. You know what I mean? Like you look at all the big streetwear, luxury brands, whatever it may be. There's a story behind everything, and obviously maybe some of the luxury brands now are a bit out there, but everything that behind it has a true soul and purpose and meaning. It always ends up reaching where it should be.
Exactly.
Whereas like if you just
it's the intention.
If you put something on a shirt for whatever purpose it may be, that's not, you know, I guess pure, maybe. It's just it won't last, I guess.
Definitely. I feel like when you're creating something, just make sure that your incentive is not money.
Yeah.
It's not money, but it's like, what is it that I am? Yeah, money is great. I'm not saying, you know, don't get that back, chase that back. Yeah, but like your first and foremost goal should be, what am I offering to the world? What am I offering to my community? What am I offering to society? How is this going to benefit people around me? And I know some people are really like, come on, like, chill, like, it's just a shirt. Like, you know? But it's
a lot more than that.
Yeah, so it's like, you create the value of what you're selling. And always, like, with me, with every collection, like, I actually sit and meditate for a while. And then I'm like, okay, what is this collection going to be about? What is it that I'm going through? What is it that people around me are going through? And then I literally sit on that thought for a while, and I just give myself room to breathe. Like it's like a whole kind of approach where I take, where it's just like, okay, I start writing down notes. I visit places after the notes that I like took down. And I visit places related to the notes that I took of what it is that I want to like show. And then it just comes to me, you know, like the idea just shows up out of nowhere, and then I'm like, okay. And then I also give myself a little more time to breathe, meditate on that, experiment, research, do a lot of research. And then after I go through that process, and then I start building the pieces. I start narrowing down a lot of designs. I eliminate a lot of designs. I kind of just pick like at least 6 to 7 of the best ones, and then just put them out there.
It's very important to do research, though, like you said, especially when you're diving into cultures and other things, like the anime, for example, and all these other things. You really do need to do your research when it comes to these things, because people also are quick to call out, like when it shows that maybe you don't know something as much as you should have, or you're appropriating, or
and I've been called out, and it was a lesson for me. You know? Because I took the very personal approach with something, and I just ended up being called out for it. And I was like, okay, that's a lesson for me. I'm not gonna. But like, okay, there was the constructive criticism part of that, and there was also the part where people were just literally bashing the entire brand. And I'm like, calm down. Relax.
We live and we learn, honestly.
Yeah, like. Relax. I am not, I am not
perfect.
Yeah. I'm not, like, I don't want to say the word, but like, I'm not like God's descendant or anything, like, of course I'm gonna make mistakes.
Who doesn't?
Like, of course. And like, if you're gonna cancel me every 2 seconds, cancel me all you want. I don't care. I don't care. Honestly. It's like always the people hiding behind screens are like, I'm like, okay, cancel me in front of my face. Cancel me.
No, you'll never see that energy in person. Yeah. Definitely not. No. Would you say, going back to the Apocalypse collection, would you say it was your favorite, or there's like your favorite, the one that you've worked on or the most proud of? Or is it maybe... It's
it's a collection that I'm proud of. I don't think I have a favorite.
All of them. They're all your babies.
I mean, I can rank them in terms of like... I can rank... Like, okay, my current favorite is definitely the latest collection, because it's something completely out of my comfort zone. I don't wear color, you know, and just like when people were like make colored I started off just making black and white t-shirts.
Yeah.
And then just having people ask for color, I'm like, you want color? What colors? So people were like, pink. I'm like, pink? No. So like that was completely out of my comfort zone, and it took me a while for me to actually get comfortable with like picking the colors. So I think the last collection, I love how like it's completely different than what you see, you know, like it's very clean, it's shot like as if it's like a lookbook. Plain background, you're just focused on the pieces. I love the idea behind it. I think the state of mind that I was in as well was, it kind of matches the overall kind of collection, you know?
Yeah.
And
So it was your favorite to work on that one?
Favorite to work on because during working on it, I was just starting I feel like I was going through a lot of internal growth and just coming to terms with certain kind of beliefs that I had. And so this collection was a very kind of like a peaceful one to work at. It was very like, I accept everything, you know, like I'm not fighting, I'm not against anything. I'm fully receptive to whatever, you know, like God sends my way, and I'm grateful for it, you know. And then after that, I would say the most stressful, but my favorite, and I am so proud of it. It's my I feel like it's my second favorite. No. It's like, you know, with the latest collection, it's the Apocalypse collection. Yeah. Because that was like super challenging for me, you know, like I was contacting more than like 10 suppliers. Checking on the working environment, checking on the you know, the way that they manufacture things, the fabrics, making sure like sometimes they want me to print like large quantities, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with all of that? Like,
you've literally given me a perfect segue to ask the next thing I wanted to ask, because I mean, it's always been a dream of mine to start something similar to what you have, and there's just so many little things that I wouldn't even know where to start with, such as like, say for example, it's your first ever drop or your first ever release. How do you even know how many shirts to order, or how would you even before that step, how do you go through suppliers? How do you find suppliers? How do you know which one's the best? Obviously, like, there's so many little different things to maneuver there.
It's a trial and error thing, you know?
Okay.
But one thing about me is that if you ask me, I'm going to give you shortcuts. I don't understand the whole concept of, yes, I went through struggles. I struggled. Everyone should struggle. Yeah. Nah, like, you know, if you have knowledge, never keep it to yourself.
Of course not.
Never keep it to yourself, because it will not hinder your growth. It will not hinder your success if someone else is successful, you know? So to me, like, if anyone asks me, hey, where can I print t-shirts? Where can I do this? Where can I do that? I'm like, there you go. You know, there's a phone number. Contact the person. You know, and then sometimes, like, I have to just make sure to tell them, like, you know, just tell them that I gave you the contact so that the guy doesn't, like, you know, I'm, like, passing his number around.
No, but that's insane, because so many people would be like, oh, no, like, he's my dude or my guy, and these are, like, my good suppliers and my whatever, that
there's nothing as my, like, you know, nothing belongs to you.
Exactly,
you know?
But some people are like that because it's... Actually, I can't tell you why, because I don't know, but...
I think it's just fear.
Yeah.
Fear that you might be doing what they're doing, you know?
And they can do it better than you, maybe.
Yeah.
Like something like that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know? I didn't invent the fashion. I didn't invent fashion. I didn't invent streetwear. I'm not the first person to drop a t-shirt, and certainly not the last one. No, you know? That supplier as well, like, you know, needs to make money. You know? And help each other. Yeah. It's like, you know, I don't get this... like, I look at life as energy, you know. Everything is sort of like a cycle, you know. Your intention and what you put out there will determine your future. If you do things from a place of love and light, and you do things because you want to help people around you, that energy is going to come back to you, you know. So if I can make someone's life less stressful by just giving you a phone number... Why not?
Why on earth?
Why not? You know?
Of course.
You need help when it comes to, like, I don't know. Suppliers, how do I contact the suppliers? How many t-shirts should I drop? How many sizes? These are things that I'm gonna give you my own personal experience and my own analysis about the situation, but then your customers are gonna be different than mine.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, so it's all trial and error. What I do, I still do it to this very day, is that I produce small batches. I produce everything in batches. So like a total of 4 batches. The first batch is for me to analyze the market. See what is it that people want to buy most. The second batch is based on the research of the first batch.
Okay.
What is the most demanding piece? That is the piece that I'm going to create more out of. But obviously, I don't announce it that way.
Yeah.
The overall accumulative quantity that I have is on the website. People don't know that I'm I already have the overall quantity set of all the batches, but I don't produce them at once.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I don't produce, let's say, if I want to produce 100 t-shirts for every design. I'm not going to produce 100 at once. First of all, that is I'm a small business. I'm
where are you gonna keep all these things?
Where am I gonna keep all of this? Where am I gonna it's gonna stress me out just walking into the office and just looking at the amount of stock, and I'll be like,
you need to it's
stressful.
Yeah.
So when you see a small batch and that batch is selling, and then you're like, okay, I need to contact my supplier, set up the second batch. It gives you a sense of relief. It's less stressful, less overwhelming for you, especially as a young, designer, as a small business. Don't stress yourself. Aim high, but gradually aim high.
Yeah.
Take life little by little. You don't have to be like, okay, today I'm going to release a streetwear brand. By next year, I'm going to be a multimillionaire. Calm down.
Yeah.
Okay, this can happen.
It can.
But what are you doing to actually get there?
Exactly.
Set realistic goals. Let's say by the end of this year, let's say I'm going to start a brand this month. By the end of the year, it's going to be a 6-figure brand. It's a 5-figure brand. Gradually, work to set a game plan for yourself that is realistic according to your timeline, according to the time that you have. And whatever you start, just make sure that there is a vision behind it. Yeah. You want to succeed? Have a vision. What is your overall aim? What is it that you want to do? What is the purpose of you starting this brand? How are you going to stand out in a crowd filled with designers? How is your brand going to create an impact on the person who purchases it? So this is super important. You setting a game plan, making sure that you're not just starting a business just because everyone else is starting a business.
Yeah.
No, by all means, starting a business is great. But if you don't have the right vision, the right tools, the right mindset for it, it's going to be a short-term thing rather than a long-term thing. Yeah.
Just like we mentioned about having the purpose and the purity behind it, and not just a cash grab or whatever it might be.
Yeah, and then always be your biggest supporter. Always be your biggest supporter. Be your biggest fan. Don't wait for other people to validate what you create. A lot of people are going to come up to you and be like, what is that? They're not going to get it. That should not hinder your growth.
Absolutely not.
There are going to be customers that tell you, well, I don't like what you... Not customers, just people. I don't like what you produce. I just don't think it is appropriate. I just don't understand it. What does that even mean? If you don't have anything constructive to say that's going to help me grow, I don't want to hear it.
Keep it to yourself, honestly.
But at the same time, you're not going to talk to anyone that way. You want to approach it in a very kind of like a professional manner as well. You have a reputation to maintain.
Of course.
It's like your kid,
Yeah.
You're teaching your kid, you're giving your kid, I would say, a voice. But the tone that you choose will determine how far it goes in life.
Absolutely.
I used to look at my brand just like, a baby when I first started, and now it's like, okay, now it's a child,
it's
and
a
now
toddler.
It's a teenager. Like, wow, I have a teenager that I have to deal with, and it just makes it makes you more responsible. It makes you more responsible. Like, okay, I have to take care of it. Like, I have to check up on it. And the energy that you put out for the things that you create is so important. Absolutely. Always send love to the things that you create. Always, 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 always. Don't talk down on your brand just because it didn't make you cash today or tomorrow. Of
course.
It's just...
You have to stick through it.
Stick through it. You're not going to give up on your kid halfway through because they failed an exam. Who does that? You're not my kid anymore. You can go find a new mom. No, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. So the same approach you need to apply to everything that you create. You want to make sure that that kid gets on its own feet, makes its own money, where you don't have to keep on watching over it all the time.
Yeah.
You know? So then you can leave it to do its own thing and be successful, and then start other things.
Exactly.
Okay? So you don't limit yourself to one source of income. You don't limit yourself to one how do I say this? Like, you don't limit yourself to one project. You don't hinder your own growth
And
as a creative.
no, be too narrow-minded, I guess. Like,
yeah, exactly.
open up because as well as humans, we do. I don't want to say we get bored, but we do like to. I mean, we're curious by nature, right?
Yeah.
So we like to try new things, go into new businesses, new passions, new whatever it may be. So obviously sticking through something until it reaches a point where it can be, I guess, self-sustaining or whatever. So you can then go on to the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing.
And then it will lose it will lose its value to you if you have to constantly, mother it or like take care of it.
Upkeep. And
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Yeah. So like, you need to set a plan for yourself where like, okay, in 5 to 6 years, I will have an entire team for my brand where I wouldn't have to worry about a thing, where it's running on its own, where it's so financially stable to the point where I don't have to worry about it. That is a long-term mindset.
Obviously,
you wanna always, whenever starting up a business, never short-term. Don't start something because it's a hype. Start something because you want to see it grow, you want to see it evolve, you want to see your vision come to life. You want to help people around you. You want to make sure that you're offering something of value to the people around you.
Absolutely.
And what else did I want to say that I completely forgot? Don't use your passion as a one source of income. Like your one source of income. Never.
Yeah.
It's going to make you hate your brand,
I see that.
Because then you're going to put the pressure of money on it. I need you to make me this much money. No. Come on. Like, you can't just... Again, back to the kid.
Yeah.
Imagine putting that much responsibility on a kid.
Yeah.
No, you're abusing your own brand at this point. So you want your brand to have its own entity, but then help it get to that. What are you doing? What are the steps that you're taking in order for you to get it to become its own entity, become its own person, become its own kind of, empire. So, yeah.
Wow. Love it. I love it. I feel like I just learned so much, honestly.
I am glad.
Yeah. I pretty much asked you everything I've wanted to, honestly. I feel like I've learned a lot.
I am glad.
Thank you.
I'm glad. And whatever help you need, if you want to start up your business, I got you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
You can text me, like, whenever, like, if you want suppliers, I got you. You want,
thank you.
Whatever you need.
I'm still a long way away from that, but...
it's okay. Take your time.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll know when you should start.
Yeah.
You'll know when you should...
Definitely.
But set it as a plan. It's so important to, like, actually hold yourself accountable for the things that you want to do.
Absolutely. All right, well, to wrap up this brilliant conversation, I've
I don't know where to look.
this one. I've honestly learned so much, and
I'm so glad.
I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be here. It was an odd one for me because usually I always sit where you're sitting, and now I'm here, and I kind of like it. I think I'm gonna sit here from now on, honestly. But yeah, to wrap up, I got 2 more questions for you.
All right.
Your top 3 songs in rotation right now, and the favorite concert that you've ever been to.
Okay, concert. I've never been to a concert.
Don't say that. No way.
Actually, I have Soul. That was my first concert.
Yeah, Soul has. Yeah, they bring out some.
It was Rico Nasty, like the only person that I was like, okay, hyped for. And then my 3 songs.
You actually remind me of her a little bit. Rico Nasty.
She has her own, like, I love her.
Yeah.
3 songs.
I just couldn't unsee it. As soon as you said it, I was like, whoa. For a second.
3 songs that are on repeat. Actually, wait, let me check.
Yeah, go for it.
Spotify. What the hell? Excuse you?
Spotify or Apple Music?
Spotify. I used to be an Apple Music person, but, like, you know what?
Love that.
You know what?
Love that. You made the right decision.
I really did. Okay, so I've been obsessed with this one artist that is based that is based in Dubai, in Boston. I've been annoying.
Oh my god, I know exactly who you're about to say.
Bio.
He's my childhood friend.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been annoying the living shit out of this guy. I feel like, I'm like, your music, dude, your music. I feel like he reached a point where he's like, khalas, get off my back.
That's crazy.
And it's
That's
mostly
crazy.
like his music that has been on repeat. Literally, I've memorized every single song.
Support your local artists.
Yeah, man. Oh,
Good.
Marcelina, my baby.
Yeah.
Marcelina, there's a song that she released 2 years ago called The Venus Is Her Name.
Yeah.
I love that song so much.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite song.
I spoke to her before you coming on
Yeah.
to ask her, like, I wanted to put like a nard bar on you or some shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is, or you have no idea?
No.
Like-
I'm just laughing.
Like when I would say something that you wouldn't know that I would know, so you'd be surprised. So for example, I had already known that you started Lahjtna as a uni project, and I was gonna say it, but it was literally the first sentence you said. I was just I wanted to catch you off guard.
But anyways, so I would say Bio's music. I don't know if I can fit all, like, just him as an artist.
Okay.
I've been like literally listening to his music religiously. I don't know if I can say that. Okay. Another song is Marcelina, Venus Is Her Name, and then the third, there's so many. I would say, Zaina. I love her.
Okay.
Zaina
I haven't heard of her actually.
She is amazing. You need to check her out. So Zaina is an artist. She's a Lebanese artist based in, I think, LA now.
Oh wow.
And then she just released a freestyle that I'm obsessed with. It's called, I don't know how to say it, but it means it's okay in French.
Okay.
Okay. So her last freestyle was amazing. She also released a song called Trust Issues, which I really like. So yeah, I love her music. It's mostly like artists that are based here that I'm kind of listening a lot to. Not here, but just like Arab artists.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
All
about
right.
it. That's about it.
Lovely. Great music taste there.
Thank
For
you.
sure. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another one. I appreciate everyone who's been engaging so far. You mean a lot to me. And check out Lahjtna. Check out
Yes.
check out Aisha. All of Aisha's projects right now. She's out here. She's killing it.
I am.
Check out the shirt. Check out her drip. Give them a little.
I really don't know how to act.
I don't know either. I'm totally freestyling this. But thanks again, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Peace out. Awesome.